You're now tuning into
The Cover Gang.
What's going on, Cover Gang? It is September 8th, the day after Thursday Night Football. On our last episode, me and Justin, we gave our first pick against the spread, and we both took the Lions plus 6.5. So, want to know to start the season. We are going to dive into the 1 o'clock games for Sunday, and we're going to give you this who we think's going to cover the spread in each game, as well as just some confidence behind each one. We don't love all of them, but don't hate all of them. So, Justin, what's the first 1 o'clock game we're covering?
We're jumping right into the Panthers at the Falcons. This line's been pretty steady right here at the 3.5. No real movement in this one. You want me to go ahead and give you like my points on this one, or you want to start us off?
I'll start us off. This is one of the few favorites I'm taking this week. I am taking Atlanta to cover the 3.5. I don't like betting against a divisional rival, especially with that hook. But I think this game is one in the trenches. Without Brian Burns being there for Carolina, Atlanta has a very good offensive line. I think they'll be able to run the ball. And I think Carolina goes down early, and then Bryce Young doesn't have much protection, doesn't have DJ Chark Jr. I think there is their number one receiver. I don't think he's playing. So it's a tough first spot for this kid. I do think Bryce Young's a good player, but I just think that they're going to be with Calais Campbell and Grady Jarrett. I think they're going to be able to pin their ears back in most of this game and stop whatever Carolina can try to throw at them to get back into the game. So I am taking the favorite Falcons 3.5.
Yeah.
And it's one that I like a lot.
Yeah, and like you said, not something we normally do is take the favorites in this kind of situation, but I think it's the easy decision. Rookie quarterbacks in game ones are typically pretty bad at in their performance overall, so we're not expecting a great performance out of Bryce Young. I think the Falcons are kind of built to run over this team, and I think with the Panthers having a new system and new personnel, not that great of weapons, they didn't really add much talent around Bryce Young. I think he struggles in this one, and this is one of my larger bets of the week. I got 2 units on this one for the Falcons to cover minus 3.5.
Same, yeah. It's one that I'm putting in all my pick'ems, and it's one I'm doubling down on as well. So,
all right. Next up, we got the boring game of the week. We got the Cardinals at the Commanders. I'll start off with this one. I'm going to just say it. Washington shouldn't be favored by 7 versus anyone. It's just a boring game. I'm taking the Cards because it's gross, and we take, the ugly team and the points sometimes. That's what we do.
That's what you have to do on this one. I think this is the most publicly bet side is taking Washington minus 7 just because of how bad this Cardinals team is, and they are horrible. I think they're starting like a 4th round rookie center. It's the quarterback, I think it was Josh Dobbs is who they named quarterback after they shipped off Colt McCoy. Kyler's obviously not ready, so yeah, it's ugly, but everybody's on Washington. They think it's going to be a blowout, so this is what we do. Fade the public on this one. It's not one that I love, but I don't hate it either. I don't hate taking Cardinals plus 7 here and fading the public.
It's Washington. Why are they favored by 7 in the season opener? I mean, I don't know. Beats
right.
me.
Yeah.
Next
so
up,
we agree 2 for 2 so far.
Yep. Next up, we got the Bengals at the Browns. This is a good one to talk about. It's a historically hard matchup for Joe Burrow. He's 1-4 straight up versus the Browns. What's your take on this one?
I am 100% taking the Browns at home plus 2.5. That is one of my favorite bets of the week. Like you said, Joe Burrow has, for some reason, struggled with this Cleveland team, especially in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is a game for Deshaun Watson to come out there and prove that he's still a good quarterback. And this is also a game that I think because of the calf strain, Joe Burrow is going to play, but I just don't see it. He is not the most mobile quarterback in the league, but he does use his legs quite a bit. And when you have Myles Garrett, he's going to have to stay in the pocket and try to pick this defense apart. So I like Cleveland here.
Yep, me too, for some of the reasons you said. I think Bengals have a slow start. They've known to do that. The injury to his leg where he got hobbled up, and that's definitely a concern. But Cleveland's definitely the smarter side, especially at home. This has been probably the toughest team for Joe Burrow out of all the 32 teams. So, I mean, it's crazy to say that, but not only, do we think the Browns do really well this year, what a way to start their, season to take it down the Bengals in their home stadium. So I think this is where they get off on the right foot right here.
Right, yeah. I like them outright, but give me some points, 2.5 on top of it. I'm taking Cleveland all day, and it's the same with the Atlanta game. I'm doubling down my unit size on that one. So,
yep. Next up, we got the Texans at the Ravens. This one's the largest spread of the week. What you got in this one, man?
Only double-digit spread, and week 1, nobody knows they're bad. You take the points. I'm riding with Houston plus 10. It is a game. It's kind of like the Cardinals game. It's not one of my top 5 of the week, but I don't hate it. It's not one that I'm like putting only a little bit on. So putting maybe a little bit over a normal unit size on it, I would say. But yeah, you have to take the points here. It's too inflated. Lamar's got to get accustomed to these new weapons, and the only fear I have is rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, and Lamar. I do think that they have a chance to go out there and score a lot of points, but 10's just too much here to start off the season with. We haven't seen Lamar play in a long time, and then we haven't seen him with these weapons or this new offensive coordinator. So Houston's the sharp side, in my opinion.
Agreed. I don't really have many more points. Like you said, they got a new offense under Todd Monken, and there could be some adjustments getting used to right there. Huge spread of the week. You take the ugly Texans, which they're. I'm kind of surprised it's this large because they're expected, to have one of the more improved teams coming out in the season opener. But, it is easily, the sharp side when you have a point spread that large and you got the Ravens at home. So just take the Texans in this one, and it's ugly.
Fade Todd Monken. I mean, what a name. Anyways.
All right, next up, we got the Jaguars at the Colts. Give me some points on this one. I know you like this matchup.
Favorite game of the week. Not only am I doubling down, maybe triple, maybe quadruple. We'll see how Sunday it works, but I love Indianapolis in this spot. Kansas City lost last night. Jacksonville plays Kansas City in Jacksonville next week. So I'm not saying it's hard to look over your first game of the year, but there is a little bit of that aspect. Calvin Ridley's there with Jacksonville. I think that it'll take a little bit to get used to. In this Doug Peterson offense, it's not the most simplistic offense scheme out there. So the addition of new weapons, I think takes some chemistry. But the main reason is I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars defense has no idea what they are getting from that Colts offense. Shane Steichen was offensive coordinator with Jalen Hurts in that running game last year for the Eagles. Now he's head coach, and he has Anthony Richardson. Doesn't have Jonathan Taylor, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. And what helps us even more is they're going to run the ball. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of points scored, and the game's going to be over kind of quick because Indianapolis is going to keep it on the ground so much. So take the points in this divisional matchup. Like I said, I think they're overlooking them a little bit, looking ahead to Kansas City. So I love Colts +5 here.
And let's remind everyone, Vegas wants you to eat that 4.5, 5 points on the road with the Jaguars. They're one of the most public hype teams right now, up there with like the Bears, the Jets. Like they're a trendy team right now. They want you to take that. So it is the sharp side to be on the Colts, and the Jags historically struggle against this franchise. It's one of their hardest, division rivals out of the division. So public is coming in heavy on the Jags at 75% of the bets. Colts are expected to be trash, but we're taking the home dog +5 all day in this kind of situation. So
that offensive line for the Jaguars, when you have DeForest Buckner and then Shaq Leonard, they're going to be able to generate some pass rush. The offensive line is the weakness of this Jaguars team, so I'm almost calling upset. I think maybe we see a Kansas City Jacksonville 0-1 battle next week that nobody really expected. So, but give 5 points all day.
Pretty bold pick. Hey, if it turns out right, I mean the Colts, they do well in this matchup, so we'll keep your eye out on that one. If you want to, feeling kind of lucky, take the money line. You never know. Tyler said take the money line. He said he can
I'm saying take the points, but I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not taking the money line, but I wouldn't be shocked. So we cover the spread here. Let's stay tuned.
All right. Next up, we got the 49ers at the Steelers. Tough place to play.
Another
Where
game
we
I
at?
love. I love this game too.
Yeah.
Not as much as I love the Colts. It's more like the Browns and Falcons. But yeah, you got to take Pittsburgh at home here. When you look at these two teams on paper, I think they're very similar. Honestly, I may trust Kenny Pickett a little bit more than Brock Purdy. And they're at home. And what does Mike Tomlin do when he's a home underdog?
He
He gets his team
wins.
up to
Not,
play. Brock Purdy coming in, all that noise out of San Francisco. I'm doubling down on my unit size at least. This one and Cleveland, like I said, I may go a little bit more up. But yeah, you got to take Steelers here. Have to. Mike Tomlin as an underdog at home. Open up the year against a Brock Purdy.
yeah. Let's
How do you
remind
not?
everybody, Mike Tomlin wins half of his matchups as an underdog, so that's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Steelers win outright.
And they can for sure take the points in this one. I'm not as enthused about this one as Tyler because I'm bigger on the 49ers, but I still think the Steelers is the sharp side, no doubt, especially at the season opener at home as an underdog.
Yeah,
No
and you
brainer.
can still get it right now at 2.5. So plus 2.5. It opened up at +3. Sharps came in very quick, grabbed it. It's at 2.5. It's flirting with 2, so I would jump on it now.
Yep, definitely. All right, next up, Bucks at the Vikings. Boring game of the week, corner TV game. Where are we at on this one, man?
I don't know if it'll necessarily be boring because I do think it'll be a high-scoring game. We expect the Bucks to be bad this year, and we expect the Vikings to regress.
Mm-hmm.
But the Vikings, they went what 6-0 last year in one-score games. It was either 6-0 or 7-1, but they were really good, and it's because of Kevin O'Connell. He's a good coach, but
I think it was even crazier. I think it was like 11-1, 6-0, and it was a different stat. I feel like.
yeah, maybe I'm wrong there, but they got lucky in every close game, and I don't think it's pure luck because Kevin O'Connell is a good coach. But this Minnesota Vikings defense is bad. I think Baker and crew will be able to move the ball. And first game of the year, you're giving me 6 points. I'm gonna take it. So I'll take Bucks +6 in Minnesota. It's not one that I am enthused about. Under a normal unit size is what I'll be putting on it. But yeah, I'll give me the points just because that's what the Vikings do. They stay in these one-score games. So
Yeah, and I think the lines moved down to 5.5, but I would still take the 5.5. But we definitely would want the 6 if we can get it. It's a boring game for me. I don't really have any other points on that one. But last up, we got the Titans at the Saints. Who you got in that one?
But the line's sitting at 3 right now, and I just looked, and it looks like it's moving close to +2.5.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
like this game that much.
-120 at 3. Yeah, the
I don't like
line.
this game that much.
We talked about this offline, and you said you thought the line was pretty accurate, like right where you think it should be.
Yeah, there's one more game that we'll talk about in the primetime games that I think the line is dead set on where it should be as well. So I don't love this game. Having to pick a side, I will sprinkle a little bit on it, but like I said, it's not one of my favorite ones. I'll take Vrabel and Tannehill and Derrick Henry to end the points, that the +3, just because I just think it's going to take a little bit of time for Derek Carr to get used to this system. Like I said, Alvin Kamara is suspended. We don't know what we're getting out of Michael Thomas. Chris Olave seems to be a stud, but I don't know. Like I said, I went back and forth on this one, and I think I'm just going to take Vrabel over Dennis Allen and the points.
Yeah, that's the only.
Comes down to coaching for me.
I think it's pretty close in the line, and there's not much value. I would agree. But like you said, Derek Carr does poor in new teams, new schemes, so that's what I will stick with. And Vrabel's solid as an underdog, so we'll take the +3. And they had a rough stretch last year, but hopefully with Tannehill back in the saddle, they'll get things straight and cover for us on that one. But not one of my favorite ones to pick.
Lot of good games in that 1 o'clock window, so that does it for the 1 o'clock window. If you want to give a few shout outs.
Yeah, if you're new to the pod, drop a comment. If you disagree with some of our spread picks for these week 1 spreads, we will be going over the primetime games. We're going to separate them out every week. So don't forget to follow the podcast on Spotify or Apple. And if you're a returning listener, check out the channel on YouTube at youtube.com/@CoverGangATS. Click the bell, turn on notifications so you're notified each time we drop our picks video. We will cover every game this season, including the primetime games, like I said. So make sure to check out the next video for week 1 because that will be dropping soon.
Other than that, we're going to cover the spread in the 1 o'clock games.
Yes, sir. All right, let's cover the spread, baby. Peace.
Peace.